It's like a little nest around me. I've got so much crap that I'm working on here, and my table leg I've got table legs to put on a canvas. It's a canvas that I framed everything's falling. It's a canvas that I framed that I'm turning into a, like a coffee table kind of thing. That's the best way I can describe it. I was watching Going Crochetzy, and my home health nurse was supposed to come by, and so I thought, well, they're get up and get ready. And when I got up and logged off the YouTube to check, see if I got a message from her, she had rescheduled. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do here. Y'all, I've got such a mess around here, but I want to show you some stuff. And get some stuff ready to be finalized. Let me plug up my glue gun really quickly here. It's a pretty day here, but I'm getting really tired of gray days. Yesterday we had some sun, and I think I felt better just because we had sun. Today the sun is eluding us, and I'm not as happy with today because the sun's not so bright. Let me crack a window. It's kind of warm in here. See if I can make everything fall off of my windowsill. That's about how talented I am. Okay. Maybe that will help a little bit. Okay, so I want to share some stuff that came in. I don't know if many of you were with me the other day. I feel like I'm sitting pretty wampus. There we go. That's better. I don't know if many of you were with me the other day. I've been having cluster migraines. And migraine medicines don't really jive with me. And I don't like to take a whole lot of medicine if it's not necessary. So I talked to my doctor and was like, it's like the cluster migraines are really bad right now. It's just that time of year, the spring, all the crap in the air. And she was like, well, she's like, try this or try that. And I was like, well, what's all this natural stuff? And I was like, what's all the main ingredients? She's like, oh, sugar and caffeine. And I'm like, I think I'll just stick with the Mountain Dew. So when I have a migraine, I will drink a Mountain Dew. It's getting harder for me to drink these, though, because they do taste like cane syrup to me since I've not been drinking them. But I cannot get rid of these headaches, y'all. I cannot shake them. So when I have them, I do sip on a Mountain Dew. It does seem to help, probably just because they're brought on by the weather and barometric pressure, and the caffeine kind of combats that. But y'all, this year has been horrible. Hello out there for all y'all jumping in. I was watching Going Crochetzy, and then my home health nurse was supposed to be here, and then when I checked in to see if she was going to be here, she had actually messaged and said she's going to have to reschedule. So I thought perhaps I should do something constructive with my time. How about it? So I'm going to try to finish up just some more simple jewelry. So I made a lot. I've made a ton of bone jewelry. This is an earring pair that I bought forever ago. And lots of times when younger teens and tweens will buy stuff, I'll throw in an extra earring. But somehow I lost the other mushroom that goes with that. So I'm just going to put him in my ear, and he can be my bonus weird earring that shows up when I don't have anything else to wear with my giant earrings. But so I do a lot of bone jewelry. Mountain Dew is the only thing I know that will actually help stop my migraines. And I'm sure it's just a combination of the sugar and the caffeine. But the bad thing is I will be like the rest of the day. So I'm still battling a flare for my neuromuscular disorder. I'm still really swollen, not as bad as I was. But I'm still struggling a little bit there. But I'm still trying to get crap done. So I've got some stainless steel necklaces here. And if y'all have been watching me lately, I have been making a lot of bone and tooth jewelry. I do a lot of native work. So if you're here for the first time, my name's Elizabeth. This channel is basically just about country living, my life with a neuromuscular disorder that is attacking my organs. I'm a retired parole officer, retired counselor, and I have a lot of opinions about everything, but mostly it's just to sit and visit, kind of have a cup of tea with your friend. And I do really weird crafts because I am part Native. I'm Irish, and I've got a lot of Cherokee and Lenape from the Delaware tribe in my lineage on my mother's side. And so I like to keep those things alive. So I do a lot of native art. My husband works full time as a lineman, but he's also a trapper tanner. So I do a lot of fur art. And I like to share that. As you can see, I've got a dream catcher and I've got beaver pelts behind me. And these are stuff that's in his Etsy store. The Etsy store is Hillbilly Heart Decor. He traps and tans all year, and he's a one-man show, does it all himself. And I'm very proud of his skills. And he's got an Etsy store, and he buys me stuff to craft with to keep me, it's my sanity. Plus, it is my physical therapy for my hands and stuff with my arthritis. And so when I make stuff, if it looks terribly pretty, I'll be like, here, you can have that one back. And he'll put it in his store, and then he'll buy me more stuff to craft with. So I am normally not, I don't normally have this background as much as I have the last 2 weeks, but I'm normally a lot of the time with my mother on the cattle farm due to my health, and not doing very well with my thyroid. But here lately, we had some issues here. My neighbor's house burnt down a little over a week ago, and I had to stay up here to watch for it to fire back up and call the fire department. And then the detective that was kind of investigating the fire just kind of made a passing comment that probably wouldn't be the best time to leave my home unattended. So even though I've got really good security cameras and stuff, retired parole officer, I thought, no, I'm going to take that hint. And so I've stayed here. Because when my husband works, he's in a different state, and I thought, I'll stay here. Now I'm getting really run down and tired because I've been really like super aware, like a little, like a little prairie dog looking at everything. And I really need to go back to the farm and rest again, because that's where I do my best healing for my disorder. And I help keep up with Mom, and she helps keep up with me. It's mutual. But I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done while I'm here. Really, all I've accomplished is making a huge mess of the house, but I did it really well. So, but if you remember last week, I was telling you that I had found a bunch of old fox stoles, and somebody had taken the fox stoles or the tails off the fox stoles and put them in an auction lot. I got it. And so when they make stoles out of foxtails, they actually run a different thread in and they hook them all together to make a longer one. So what I'm going to do is creatively separate the ones that aren't separated. And so if you were here with me, you could see the string that runs through that connects them. You can kind of tell where they're disjointed, but these are so great to use for crafting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a few apart and use them as huge feather drops or fur drops on my dream catchers, and fur accents on my dream catchers. And I'm really tickled with them. I don't like to see the vintage stoles, the vintage fur go into the landfills. So anytime that I can find them in a lot and save them, it makes me happy, because then I know that the landfill is not getting full of stuff that still has a purpose, And then as soon as I get all this done, I've got my glue gun heating up. We're going to be doing a rattle out of this polished cow horn. I've got a couple of these, and I've got one cow horn from Dad's farm. He had a heifer that he had to pull, and I've got one of hers drying as well, but these are just polished cow horns. I actually like the not polished better, but beggars can't be choosers. So, and I think this weekend David's going to the farm that he traps at, that we're trying, I say we, I just interject myself and everything. The farm he traps that he's trying to get the land healthy again, and the state is helping because the state is interested because the land is so unhealthy, and the state is like, oh yeah, let us kind of watch what you're doing, and we'll help you and give you special permits, because it's a huge chunk of land and they want it doing better. So he's wanting to go down there this weekend. And of course, every farm has what we call the death pile. That's where when a farmer has animals die, they haul it off to a certain area. And those are rich with wonderful things that if they've been out there sun bleached, I can bring them in, sterilize them very quickly in a sterile wash bath, and use them in art. And so if it stays pretty this weekend, after the last 2 weeks I've had, I was like, can you take me and let me get me some new art media? And he was like, yeah, sure, because I fully anticipate being back down the mountain on the cattle farm down there very soon, because if I don't get some rest, I'm gonna crack. So, and I think a lot of the trauma here is hopefully over with, and if somebody was going to do something stupid, they would have already done it. And so I feel a little bit better about leaving the house. I also have these little wooden mama fox, baby fox to put on the dream catcher with the foxtails as well. So I'm kind of doing themed stuff now. I made a really pretty dream catcher the other day, and I've made some wooden trays and put some canvases in the bottom, and I've got them in various states of lacquering. But what I wanted to do today was just kind of chit chat for a minute, and I'm going to put some of these stacked gemstones on some simple necklaces, because even though I do my jewelry, when people come to David's booth, you know, sometimes they have kids, or sometimes they're younger customers and they can't afford, you know, some of the more authentic native jewelry. And so I like to offer just some source jewelry or some easily made jewelry that is more affordable for those individuals. So I do little stainless gem stacked necklaces, and it's just my way to make sure that everybody has something in their price point, and I don't feel like I'm excluding groups of people. And I know what it's like to, you know, not be able just to buy whatever you want to buy. So I try to get as many price points on the table as possible, so that, you know, as many people as possible can purchase something if they want to. And so I just do these little, and I like to do aventurine or fluorite, turquoise, howlite, quartz. But I even sometimes do sodalite and turn selenite straws into pendants. I do a little bit of everything, and I really enjoy it. And it's just my way of just getting different price points out there, so that, you know, David's table it's okay for everybody to shop. So that's just kind of what I do. And they're pretty. I do tend to put them on the prettier stainless chains, though. I like those stainless chains. So this is just the easy stuff. Hello, how you doing? I'm glad you caught me. I am still plucking away and I'm trying to make simple stuff for people that need a lower price point today. That's what I'm working on today, so that, like, if people go to David's booth and they don't have a lot of money, they still have something there that they can purchase. That's my goal here. My hair is falling. So this was fluorite, I do believe. But I've been plagued with cluster migraines here lately, and I cannot shake them, and they're driving me nuts. And I'm just having a really rough time with the migraine. So I've got me a little Mountain Dew to sip. I do try to be reasonable with my prices, but some stuff that, you know, David makes, the furs and stuff, they can get quite pricey. And I just try to make to where everybody that shows up, you know, can pick something out. And lots of times kids will be there with their parents, and the kids get really enamored with what we have because it's so different and unusual, and they just want to purchase something, I think, to remember what they've seen. And of course David gives notorious kid discounts. But I like to have smaller stuff. I made these rib earrings last night, and I've got a glue strand hooked to it. There we go. I made those rib earrings last night. I'm trying to do as much as I can, but at times I just have to stop because my eyes are not doing the greatest this week. It's just what it is. For some reason, my disorder is staying like right on the cusp of flare, and I don't know why. My ring hooked on my sweater. I don't know why, but I'm having a really hard time with it. I also made these big honking white-tailed deer antler earrings. Those are special. Like it'd take a real certain person, you know. But those people, they're out there, and so I make stuff, and I also enjoy when those people show up and purchase. I'm like, I knew you were out there. I'm like, I knew someone was out there that would want this. I knew it belonged with someone. And what I do is when I go to these events with David, or when he goes, if I don't go with him, I send a whole bag of backs with him. And so when people purchase stuff, I then put the backs on them, and I normally give them 2 pairs because they take stuff off and on looking at them at the booth. So, and you'll lose your back. So I just put backs on when they purchase them. I really hope that my health gets a little bit better and I can actually go with him, because I have not been doing the greatest here lately. But I've also stressed my body a lot. So I can't say I'm surprised, because I've really put myself through the ringer. The plain rib earrings are some of my favorite stuff. But I also have some rib earrings that I resined crystals to. Those are pretty. Kim and I went through all of my jewelry yesterday. We also put up the woven fence textile to block the garbage from the burnt home from going into our yard. They swear they're fixing to put a skiff over there and to start cleaning up. And as they move stuff, I just honestly did not want it blowing over and coming to my yard, because number one, they won't pick it up. Number two, you know, it'd just be easier for them to have it pinned up against something. So I thought that'd be the best way to go. I'd had those to put around the pool, so when I was in the pool, it just kind of blocked a little bit. And not that they're peeping toms, but it just made me feel better. But now I don't guess anyone's going to be over there this summer, so I thought, well, it may be better applied to do this. So Kim and I put those up yesterday, and then I did some stuff outside since we had some sunshine, and put Oscar's memorial wind chime out that I've had since, and hung out some of my outdoor lanterns that hang on the shepherd's hooks that I've had, and my wind spinners that I put up every year. And of course, every time Kim comes over, I send her home with a butt ton of stuff. And I forgot I was going to send her one of those ladder shelves that I have that I removed, and I forgot to send it home with her, so she'll have to come back by and pick it up. But we had a great time yesterday. We hadn't had a hangout and, you know, visit day in a while. It was fun. It was fun. The one thing that I have laughed at today, even though I don't feel good, is the space endeavor of the celebrities. Okay, now this is going to sound like I'm going to be a butthole, but my skirt is like, but you can see all the mess around me. It's organized chaos. I started watching all these news stories about everybody that did what was it? Or the Blue Origin? Is it Blue Origin? Oh no, my hair's falling. The Blue Origin. Anyway, it was a catapult Barbie endeavor. And so I was like, what happened here? Well, a bunch of celebrities and maybe one person that had some knowledge of what was going on got catapulted up into the upper layers. They didn't really go to space. They just got shoved up to a place with a view. That's what happened. But it was kind of like what Jeffrey Bezos did. Actually, I think his girlfriend, his fiance, was one of them that went this time. And yeah, I needed a day in the yard that I could do stuff, but I don't, if I'm here alone, I don't challenge myself because I'm afraid my legs will go into shutdown mode and I'll be stuck outside until somebody gets home. My health's been that bad lately. So, but I was reading about this space thing, and basically a bunch of rich people spend 11 minutes going up and coming back down. And for some reason, they think it's a huge event. I don't understand why. And that they actually accomplished something. And then when you listen to like Katy Perry speak about it, and she's like, I feel one with the divine feminine. And for some reason, that just hit me odd, because here we are, and all these specific days right around Christmas, and then we have people going up into the atmosphere, and then all of a sudden they're talking about the divine feminine right before Easter, and that just struck me odd. That just, poor timing, or I don't know, it just struck me odd. And it just felt weird. And but of course, Gail King was like, and this is important for people to see that you too can do this. Well, Gail, not all of us are best friends with Oprah, so no, we all can't do it. And then they're talking like, it was important for us to go because we want to learn how to better the earth. And here's how they're going to better the earth. They're going up there to learn how to send our trash into space. I'm sorry, but that doesn't sound like a really sustainable option. You can tell my disorder's bad today. I can't even talk. I know just a bunch of people with money out farting around. But people are like really invested in this. And I'm like, what did they accomplish? Why are we amused by it? I don't understand. But it was just really funny, but I really think that there's something else to this. I think there's something else to the timing of it. I think there's something else to the symbolic nature of it, especially when Katy Perry was like, I feel so in touch with the divine feminine. I don't know. And I just think women have changed. That one's got an odd chip shape on it. I like that. I don't know. I think they're trying to turn women into something or make us everything, so then we're AKA nothing. But listen, females have changed so much. Here's where we screwed up, y'all. Here's where we screwed up. When we made the home place for impending life, when we made the vessel for impending life a group of executioners at will, we screwed up, because it changed the entire mental, spiritual mindset of creation and the value of creation. I want you to look at this beautiful highlight I got. It's gorgeous, heavy too. It's heavy. It is very heavy. I'm really tickled with how pretty that is. So I don't know. I just I've mostly not paid a lot of attention to the news, but for some reason I caught that story, and it just struck me funny. So I wanted to tell you all about it. I don't know if anybody kind of took my hint the other day and actually read about the Battle of Tonkin. But that was something that I thought would be a really great read for a lot of people, because it's very familiar to something else that's currently going on. I'm sure if you took 5 minutes to read about the Battle of Tonkin, you would understand. Basically, North and South Korea has been a place of tumultuous tempers for a long, long time. There's just certain places in the world where people can't behave, and that seems to be one of them. They're just always upset about something, and I'm like, what's got you britches in a bunch? I don't understand why they're always upset. But I thought I'd tip you off to see if you would read about that, because it's very similar. I've got so much crap on this table. It's very similar to what's going on right now with Ukraine, because if you listen about the Battle of Tonkin, it's the same scenario. Like, there was a ship, a U.S. ship, supposed to be in, supposed to be in international waters. Supposed to be. And what they did, they were supplying war weapons and training to one area. It was North and South Korea. They were providing war weapons and training to one area so that they could battle the other area. Well, then, all of a sudden, even though they were supposed to be in international waters, they got too close, and they said that they were fired upon, and they had to return fire. And they returned fire. But then in the report, it says, then we fled back to international waters. So they knew they weren't international waters. So, gotcha. But anyway, they say that's what drug us in, basically, to Vietnam. Now look at what's going on in Ukraine. You know, we were supposed to be very separate from all of this, and why did I put them darn things? Supposed to be very separate from all this, and we were giving some aid and some training, but we were not supposed to become part of it. And then all of a sudden, we started having strife with the other side, and we somehow can find a way to justify putting ourselves right dumb smack in the middle of it again. And I'm just sitting here going, y'all need a different playbook, because we're catching up. So it's very frustrating for me to be able to see these things happening again and again and again and again and again. And then, oh my eyeballs. And then you see other people not even realize that it's occurred the first time. And it's just kind of like, how can you not see what's happening? But people can't. Like people cannot. And it just, I'm like, how can you be so blind? But then again, you know, people focus on what they deem important, and with the power of persuasion over social media and stuff, what is important has changed a lot over the past couple decades, and it's kind of astounding to see what some people think is important enough to check on daily and what is not important enough so that they ignore it. It's amazing what people ignore willfully. So I don't know. But the whole Katy Perry thing, and then Gayle King was like, and we had TD Jakes pray for us. Okay, well, And that's about like me getting a happy birthday call from Louis Farrakhan. But you know, and don't get me started, because there are people that are around Trump that what is her last name? What? He's got that blonde-headed woman that's like his religious counselor, and I don't care for her either. So, you know, I don't know. I just had very mixed emotions about the entire space thing and the people. And it was the first all-female crew. Well, number one, they didn't go to space. But actually, like, the 60s, the Soviet Union at the time sent a woman into space. So, hold your roll there, buddy. You know, it's already been done. I don't know. People don't ever read. That's a dandelion and pink quartz. That's cute. That's cute. I like the dandelions. Yeah, I think they're distracting from Easter. I think that's probably all it was just a big distraction from the holiday, from people's focus. You know, it's sad. It's sad because a lot of people don't even know what the days are, Palm Sunday and Good Friday, and they don't know these things anymore. And it's been erased from culture because they, you know, made it something we can't talk about. And when you can't talk about something, you forget about it and you can't fix it. So that's how you basically delete things from culture. So it's been very frustrating. I'm trying to let my eyes want to work. They're being kind of a butthole today. But I want my eyes to work because I really want, I got the stole pieces in from the stoles where they put all it together and they make big foxtails out of all the fur. I've got some that are already apart, and then I've got some that are still in their connected form that I'll have to kind of, but you can see how they're made now. They do a thread and then bind, like reweave all the fur into tail form, and then they use the actual tips of the tail to make more. And I just couldn't, when I saw these on an auction, I was like, I can't let those go in the landfill. I can use those as leather drops. I can run leather through and affix them to the leather and use them as big drops on the side of dream catchers and make the dream catcher worth a lot more money, and, make it really pretty and save them from the landfill. So I got him. I didn't pay nearly anything for him, but I got him. And I just couldn't see him going to the landfill. And look at these ceramic beads I got. Aren't those pretty? You see the discoloration in my fingers where they're like piebald? It's where I'm in flare. Like this hand's wanting to be really red on this side today, really reddish purple. It doesn't hardly pick up there, but you can see the discoloration on my fingers there. And the swelling on especially the pointer finger of the thumb. This disorder sucks, man. I love these beads though, and they're all slightly different. They look like little chinoiserie plateware and stuff. I just think they're pretty. And they've got nice weight to them. They're ceramic, and I love them. I don't quite know what I'm gonna do with them, but I think they're gorgeous. That was one of those emotional buys. I was like, oh, that's pretty. I gotta have that. I'll turn it into something, but God knows how I'll get it there. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, it's been like a slow news week. And I'm still stumped at these. Okay, listen, when Helene came through North Carolina, these politicians wouldn't take 5 minutes to even give any respect to these people in North Carolina that just had their lives erased. They wouldn't give any aid, and they had no F's to give because, they weren't worried about not having any aid. Well, where did all the aid went? It had went into illegal aliens and paying for their upkeep and medical care and feeding them and spending money. They were giving them spending money. That doesn't calculate in my noggin, but, some things don't with me. And they didn't help these North Carolina, and it's bothered me so much the way that our government just kind of went, you don't matter. And y'all, me and Dave, we don't have a lot to give, but every time we get anything, we try to share it. And I make crafts all the time, so we're constantly donating stuff to auctions and what do they call them? Fundraisers. God, my brain. I'm not having a good day, y'all. And so it's just like, we're doing everything we can, and big ticket items we're donating to these auctions and fundraisers so that money can be raised and these trailer homes can be purchased and sent there. And our little community has done remarkable. There's been so much stuff that our little community has raised to purchase. I don't remember how many little trailer homes. but they do a newspaper story over it every time they send one. And of course, sometimes I write for the lady at the newspaper, so I get a free subscription because I write for her. And I just do it to not be bored. And so she's like, well, I'll give you a subscription so you can keep up and see it when it's in the paper. And I was like, okay. And so I see all the stuff that, we're sending and the money we're raising. And I'm very proud of my area. And but the government did nothing. But parts of our government, people in our government, are currently taking flights paid for by taxpayers to go and protest in El Salvador for that El Salvador man because they think he was taken into custody illegally. No, he wasn't. He was illegal. He was not a resident of here. He was an illegal alien who had been here evading his own government because he was an assaultive human being, was declared MS-13, and his government wanted him in custody. So he fled here illegally and hid out from his gang, which was his own bad decision making. I don't know why he had to make it our problem. But and people are like, he needs to be released. He was taken into custody unjustly. No, he wasn't. The reason he is in custody is because in his nation, if you are a known MS-13 member and you are in any way a threat, they will put your butt in jail. Not all countries have our system, y'all. So when he was deported, they said, hey, gee, thanks. We're going to actually put him in custody and know where he is because he's a problem. Okay, well, he belongs to you, so you do what you want to do because he doesn't belong to us. We just want to get him back to where he's supposed to be. I'm fixing to lose a nail. People are mad about that, and they're spending taxpayer money to take flights to go down there and petition for his release. Well, if he comes back, he's going to have to be deported again because he still doesn't belong here. It's like, people, wake up. And he's like, my life's in danger of being put down here. I've been ousted as an MS-13. You were already ousted, bud. That's why you were on the run. That's why you were on the run. And since all these MS-13 have been put in custody and been identified, probably, honestly, the safest place for him is in custody where he can be isolated and, kept away from them. Like, we don't put everybody in general population in our prison system either. If there are known issues, then no, we put them elsewhere and protect them. And we don't want to put them where they're going to have direct conflict and be hurt. So not everybody goes into general population. Some, get placed in other places. And that's how they do it down there too, apparently. And that's the safest place for him. You make bad decisions in your young life. It's something you have to pay for when you're older. And I don't know how it's anybody's problem but his. But apparently our politicians think that they should spend more of our taxpayer money when they swear North Carolina just needs to get over everything. And they're going to go down there and beg that country who's dealing with their own citizen to release him. Well, that country doesn't want him released. And it's their laws. If I was that country, I'd be telling them to leave. And if they didn't, they were going to go in jail. Because it's almost like reverse terrorism. It's just so stupid to go down there and demand something of a country when you don't understand their rule of law and their... I dropped one. Oh, crap. So, I don't know. I just thought all this was really crazy. And the fact that... Oh, I'm going to have to watch for that when I clean up. There it is. The fact that everybody was spending money to go down there blew my mind. Because have we not wasted enough taxpayer money already? It's like, how much more are we going to blow, y'all? I don't know. But it's just... I'm just... And people think it's okay. People think it's okay. Hi, Sally. People think it's okay for our politicians to go to another nation and tell them what to do with their own felons. No. No. So I don't know. I look at our politicians and our generations coming up, and I'm like, well, yeah, we're screwed. We are so screwed. We're so screwed. Does anybody know anything about the sovereign citizen laws? Like when you announce yourself to be and go through the paperwork and become a oh, I didn't mean to close that. No, I did. Become a sovereign citizen. Does anybody know how the law then affects you? What changes if you breach the law and how the courts handle you? I've got some questions about someone that's in custody, and while I know that there's a standing and a standard for that sovereign citizen, but I don't know how it plays out in court. And I'm trying to learn about it to help Sabrina with some stuff. And I mean, they hide the information really well on it. They hide the information really well. I'm here to tell you. And I'm trying to read up on it and help Sabrina understand it. And plus, now that I know how they're manipulating it, I'm trying to learn for myself too, because I like to know weird stuff like that. But I've never seen it play out through court, and so I knew about it and I could tell her about it, but I don't know how it plays out in court, so I couldn't really be much more helpful than that. And I don't know. I'm interested about that. Yeah, Dr. Ruby did a show on it because of the same man that's in custody. And I think I kind of was the one that got through to him and was like, it sounds like he's sovereign citizen status, which changes, it kind of makes you not responsible to anyone, but also responsible to everyone in new ways. It sounds great in theory. Functionality, I don't think it really does what people think it's going to do. It kind of ostracizes you into a category where there is another level of manipulation. I'm going to resin the end of this little, oh, my eyeballs. Come on, I'm about out of resin in this bottle. I want to resin the end. Oh no. I'm going to resin the end of this little clasp so it doesn't come off. I have to get it just right, though, before I do it. But everybody was sending me and asking me stuff a few days ago, and I was like, well, this is what it sounds like. And then Dr. Breby came out with that, and I was like, okay, maybe I was right. But I don't know much more than that, and I don't think that I don't think that Dr. Ruby really hit on some of the topics that I want to research and go more in detail on. Stop it. Don't you do that to me. Technology, my butt. But at the same time, what happened? At the same time, I don't think they're all following the right trail that I'm trying to follow. And so I'm trying to research on my own. It's really difficult. What has happened? I'm going to have to go get my other little one. Farfig Nugan. That's what I say when I'm mad. Okay. Y'all hang tight. Let me go get my little spotlight resin light. My hips hurt today. I'll be right back. I'm just going over here. Now, does it have a charge? Be the next thing. Oh, are you flipping kidding me? I'm having to get creative. I'm having to get creative to lock this in, and it's making me mad. It kind of cured just by being stuck in the window with me there for a second. I don't know why. That one stopped working. But oh well. It's not like I don't have 50 blue zillion of these things. Because I do. Let's see what I can unplug. I gotta plug in Jenga. Hang on. Okie dokie. Turn off. Thank you. Okay, we're back in business. Yeah, ask about that because it's something I definitely want to learn more about. And I don't think it had crossed anybody's mind until I kind of went blah, 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 and then they were like, oh, and now everybody's talking about it. But I don't think they're following it in the way that my brain was going to follow it. And I don't know if it will actually culminate into anything, but I do want to research and ask a bunch of questions and see where the trail goes. Just so I can do my own research and see if my brain was on to something, you know. Now I've got this one light over here. Watch me resin it to my finger. If I scream, you know what happened. Y'all, I wish I slept better last night and I felt better when I woke up. But as soon as the weather starts to change, these headaches again. Oh, I'm having a really hard time with these cluster migraines this year. And I don't want to take any migraine medicine because the last time we tried a migraine medicine, it just really messed with my stomach overall. And it didn't really help because of the way it messed with my stomach. It was more of a hindrance than a help. And I just, I don't want to take a medicine if it's not going to be a huge help. I don't know how it's going to long-term affect me. I mean, it's not benefiting me. I'm just not going to take it. And so I stopped taking it. And so basically everything that they can give you otherwise for migraine is just sugar and caffeine. So I'm just sipping on a Mountain Dew trying to keep it at bay today. I'm over feeling like this, and it's like we're stuck in this weather loop, and as long as we're stuck in this weather loop, I'm going to be stuck in this migraine loop. And I've been trying to get out and do anyway, but I have days like today where everything I do is difficult. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Don't fall. Turn off. It's very frustrating. Okay, there we go. That was way too difficult for as simple as it should have been. Now I've got the chain hinged in there. There we go. But I think that's what it is. And a lot of people have never heard of it. But and Vanderstreel. Okay, Sally. Dr. Pete Chambers. Okay, Sally, thank you. I will look into that. I think I kind of tipped some people off, and they got some people on their shows to start looking into it. And I was like, okay, maybe I was on the right tangent, but at the same time, my brain's wanting to go a different way with some questions, and I want to figure it out myself. Oh my gosh, my coordination today is so not happening. I'm struggling so bad today. It's irritating me, man. It's irritating me. Irritating me. I will say that everything I've drug out to craft with, the pile is getting smaller. And so as I'm organizing stuff to put it back up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've used a lot. Oh my gosh, you know, and it's, so I'm happy about that. And my craft room is very easily getting organized in the process. So everything's starting to look a little bit better. So we'll probably be in there very soon with lives and crafting again. I'll get back to where I'm in there. And honestly, I can't remember what caused me to transition out to here. It was a specific craft and the light and the lives and stuff. And then it's like I just never got back. And I started using it to hold shipping materials, and then it just wasn't, you know, satisfactorily clean to do a live in there, and it just became a storage room for shipping and stuff like that. And I'm kind of glad I'm getting it back. The one thing I've learned about jewelry is separate them all before you transport them, because God, they tangle. Oh my God, they tangle. I'm beginning to feel really crappy. I don't like it. This went in here somewhere. I dropped it last night. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm not feeling very great at all. I do have these bracelets I'm going to make. I only have a few. And they have the resin blanks that are rectangle. And so I'm going to put some of my leftover porcupine quills and some gem chips and some smaller teeth and some smaller bones. That's what I'm going to do. Right now, when I look at the phone, everything's blurry. Because of my eyes and the stupid headache. Yeah, Sally, thank you. I'm definitely going to be looking into that now. Like, we were trained on it, but it was literally just a hiccup of training. But I've never seen it play out in the courtroom. And that's what I'm terribly interested in. And now that I've thought about it, I have to follow through and figure it out. So I'm one of those people. If I had a thought, I have to follow it through to the end. I'm one of those. I'm making Sabrina a Dreamcatcher 2. It's going to take me a while to make it. Because she was telling me kind of what's going on, I was like, oh, holy crap, you need Cinnabar. I hear footsteps. I don't know how many of you know what Cinnabar is, but I need Cinnabar. Well, I thought I heard somebody. Maybe I didn't. One of the people's over there, the house that burnt. But they sit over there for hours at a time, but I've not seen anybody attempt to pick anything up or clean. Or although when me and Kim were putting that fence thing up yesterday, there was a place that I couldn't put my arm. And I hollered at him and I said, can you help? He did. He did. Man, I wish I felt better. And I've eaten today. I just do not feel very well. I have crafted now that I'm out of my main hangers for jewelry. That's pretty doggone impressive in my world. Because I buy them like 200 at a time. But yeah, I told her, I said, you need Cinnabar. So I was naming everything that I was going to need to put on it for you know, what's going on in her life. And And Cinnabar is used a lot in this day and age, and was previously used to create color and makeup. And it used to be a very highly sought after material. But in the gemstone world, it has different properties. And so that was what made me think of it with everything she's going through. Big glue string just fluttered away. But it's hard to find it in certain quantities, so I had fun. I had fun with that. But I did find it. I did find it. I did find it. Don't get tangled. Oh, my eyeballs are so screwed up right now, y'all. How did you do that? How did you do that? Don't do that. Let go of him. Oh, good Lord, and I can't even see what's going on here. How did you do that? Why did you do that? I have another one free floating. Ow. I have a lot more, but I was wanting to use these. And then I thought, well, I'll get up and put on some clothes and feel like a human being today. Now I just wish I'd stayed in my pajamas because I feel so bad today, y'all. I feel so bad. Let's see. I did one of those, do one of those, do one of those. Do a citrine maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one. I don't know. Maybe they're doing something over there today. I hear thumping, or maybe David. He said he was gonna have to be home early today for, I don't know, something. I forget what it was. They were calling off early at some point for something. I don't know. Oh, I've knotted this one too. Boy, I'm talented today, y'all. I'm able to knot a necklace without even touching it. How in the crap did I do that? Do I get a trophy? How to do it? Okay, I've almost gotten it done. Oh, piddle. This is not the eye day for this. Oh, and now they're going after the meat chickens. And I guess it's because they figured out that a lot of us, figured out and we're making sense of why only eggs were expensive and blah, blah, blah. Now to scare everybody that it's actually the bird flu to justify, now they have to go after the meat chickens. And so expect your chicken to go through the flipping roof. Your meat chicken. Your eggs should keep coming down. It's just amazing. It's just amazing what these people will do to create stress and an unsettled society. And it's like, y'all, stop. I mean, you can tell what they're doing when they go after. I'm just going to have to undo this later when I can see. You can tell what they're doing when they go with the private meat memberships with the Amish and stuff. But jaws start to pop out again. So when they start to go after people that have the private meat memberships and stuff, like the Amish and stuff, they're fixing to pull a big canoodle in the food world because of that. This irritates the crap out of me. Now my bracelets. Cinnabar is a really red, deep, rich red mineral. And it is used to like augment balance and duality and change. And it was also known to like help with internal transformations of self. That's the best way I can describe it. So I know that when the first settlements that were here, when they came here, a lot of the natives revered it as more precious than gold. And so a lot of the people, when they went back to England and stuff, they would take cinnabar, and the alchemists and stuff were all enamored with it and stuff. But what they ended up using it for basically was pigmentation, dyes, and stuff like that. But then the natives used it, and they revered it as, more important than gold is to the settlers. And they used it in a lot of ceremonies having to do with transformation. So seasonal transformation, growth as a human being. When someone was led and came out to say that they were going to, be the next shaman, they often had ritual ceremonies, and cinnabar was one of the main offerings. So you don't see it very much. You do in some jewelries and stuff. It's really hard to get it in raw or chunk form to where you can craft with it. It's really hard. And you can find it in pendant form sometimes. Oh, I need those. I need these. Yay, I found it. But at the same time, it's used all over the world in dyes for, hi Margaret, it's used all over the world in dyes for makeup and lipstick and rouge. Used to be what they actually made lipstick dye out of. Let me go get a tray I started this morning. See what I can get done when my eyes are doing this weird thing they're doing. So I Mod Podged, I did a canvas, cut it down, and Mod Podged it into this tray this morning. I did looks like Spanish barred horses. This is probably one of my favorite canvases. I use it a lot. When I buy these, I do like 3 or 4 on all sizes. This is one of my favorite canvases. So I put it in this tray, and I'm going to get the sticker off. I'm wanting to put like a lining of leather on the inside of the tray itself, because then I have some leather concrete that I can go over it with that will make it hard and make it feel like it's almost like a piece of wood in there. So I can put this really soft leather in there, or this color of leather in there, and then I can like tack it with glue, and then I can go back with leather cement, and it will feel like, I've got to get this place cleaned up. I've got so much going on. It's about to drive me nuts. But it will feel like, it almost feel like a piece of enamel or wood. And I like to do that just to kind of create a different depth. I don't know if it actually does anything. Like, I think it does. I don't know if it makes people want to purchase anymore. I don't know, but I think it does. So I'll piddle around and see what I need to do with this. The dark color, I'm thinking too. I've never used a lot. I thought about layering to do both of them. Doing a layer of the light and then a layer of the dark. Kind of like you'd use quarter round on the edge of a really nice crown molding. Oh, the way I describe things is kind of funny. So if I use both of them, it kind of does a double color effect in there. I don't know. I may ask David what he thinks. But then I put these little corner things in the corners and try to make it a little bit more ornate. Not saying it, accomplish what I'm going for, but that feels about dry. That's what I want to do. And then this right here has to go on, and this will have to be cut down, but I need this right here where it's forked at the top, because I will put leather down there in order to actually affix it. But I'm actually going to do this one like this, and then when I cut it down, I may put another one on this end and have a dual-ended rattle. But I have to put it on there, and then I have to make a stopper, put my gems in there, make a stopper, so it will shake with the gems in there, and then resin out the end, weave and leather weave out the end. And like you have to braid the leather down and affix it to the, it's a process. And then I told David, could we just possibly go out and look for because this is Beaver Chew Willow. I said, could we just possibly go out and look for a better stick? And he was like, nah, yeah, maybe. So I may turn this one into a ceremonial stick and then just have him, that would mean he would just cut this off, unless I put like a deer jaw in here, wedged it, and then braided it, which is completely possible. I guess I could put a pelvis in there too and put dangles off of it. At this point today, I'm playing because I've got things that I want to make, but they're in my head right now, and I need to get them out of my head and figure out what I'm doing. So if I were to do that, then I start wrapping and braiding the leather around the split to reinforce it. And then all the dangles will come from the pelvis itself, and then he would cut it about here. So it'd be about that long. Now, if you have a ceremonial stick, it only ever gets passed to the left, and that is to respect the past. So you only ever pass it to the left. The only one in the ceremonial hut that can speak is the person that has the ceremonial stick. Natives had all those really weird finite beliefs, like if they do, like when they dance, kind of dancing is kind of do your thing, except for warrior dances. Warrior dances were different. Warrior dances were done to intimidate your foe. And so in a warrior dance, you could turn, but you could never go in a circle, because that indicated to your opponent that you were confused or lost. You never went backwards, because that was shown as losing ground. They had really strange, and they still have really strange rules. So when you see the warrior dance in competitions and powwows, they still have all those rules attached to it. And so the symbolism is, way rich for those things. But I like the way that they only do the passing of ceremonial sticks and stuff in certain ways, because it really does kind of make you think about, we only pass it left, and it goes to an elder before it goes to a younger person. It's just really nice. Nice paint reference. Yeah, if I do that, I would have to end up braiding. If I do this, I can do a gathering. I can do some braiding, but I can do the underside as a gathering knot, and then do the braiding on top and put that leather cement on there, and it ain't gonna move. It won't move. It'll be there forever. So that may be kind of what I do. I fix this first and then do a gathering knot over it. I'm playing right now is what I'm doing. See what I'm wanting to do. I'm playing right now. Because I don't know, my eyesight's so bad, I don't really want to do a whole heck of a lot. Unless I'm just doing like base work, because my eyesight is so bad. Also, if I do this, then I'll use hot glue to tack it as I'm wrapping and braiding, and then I'll go back with that leather cement, but I also will pick certain spots and actually resin I'll actually go over it with resin. And I'll smooth it out and do resin over the leather, which will, it kind of feels like a soft grip after that. I've kind of learned how to use resin in odd ways with these things. And sometimes if I really need something, I'll use like tripled up copper wire. So on the talking sticks and stuff, you can use silver, you can even use stainless, you know, but I always try to use copper because that's one of the more important metals in physically in your, you know, health wise. It's one of your more important metals. So I always try to use copper if I use anything. And so I use this to get a base wrap going. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and do an ornate braid over it, or do a big blood knot out of a bigger piece of leather and affix the blood knot over the top of it so that you don't see the base wrapping. But the base wrapping is what creates the tautness for the rattle to be shook. Now you don't shake these things like you're hammering something. You treat them very delicately. It's almost like a very hushed kind of baby rattle, precious kind of shake. So, you know, it's not going to be slung around, you know, but you still want it to last, and people will drop things, and, you know, you still want it to take a licking and keep on ticking. So, and this event that's coming up on the 26th, that is where most of the tribes find me the first time each year, and they pick up a lot of the ceremonial items. So they know me by, you know, when they see me, and then they know Dave. But this is the event where they show up and get a lot of the ceremonial items. So I'm trying to get some more of those done. Now that sounded like David's muffler. Y'all ever wonder what's going to come out of my mouth next? That did, though. It sounded like David's muffler. And I'm just going back up through this, and then I'll go back through the bone, the pelvis itself. And you just create a good squeezy hold of the spring in that split wood. Because that split wood does a lot to hold it on its own. It's a really strong force of nature. But you also want it reinforced. And I know I have some more teeth, but I don't know if I'm going to put teeth on this or not. I know I'm going to put some turquoise on here because I've got some turquoise where the gem holes are big enough to go on there. So I know I'm going to put some turquoise on here. And I will just keep layering and layering and layering. And then as I get closer to the top, you'll see me break out the nicer leather. Telling y'all my secrets. I use a lot of howlite. Hey, Kim. I don't feel good today, Kim. I'm just having a really icky health day. I think it's the weather. Every time it gets gray like this, I get another flipping migraine. And I did really good yesterday, so I thought, okay, I'm getting through this. No, apparently not. So we're just starting the base now. We're just starting the base. And the more important thing is when I get done with it, it has to be pretty from both sides. Which sometimes is the hardest part of it all. So. My jaw popped out again. Overdosed. He was just happy that he didn't have to do it. He thought we did a really good job, though. He was like, I'm so glad I don't have to do that. And I was like, it wasn't that bad. And I said, actually, I just told the neighbor to help, and he helped. You see how swollen I am right there? My jaw has been out several times in the last few days. He was like, you made him help? I said, no, I just politely said, can you come help? And he did. It's a talent I have. And I talk just as sweet, like sappy sweet, and just as kind. And I mean, I can talk anybody into anything. Came in real handy when I was an officer. But he helped, by golly. My tone's irresistible. Maybe that's what me. I never thought I'd get married the first time, let alone twice. Maybe that's what got me hitched. Oh, when I do that, my granddaughter does that. When I do that little extra smirk, she does it. And when she does it in such a cute way, she'll laugh and then she'll go, and oh, it's so funny. But yeah, I do that. I've noticed that I do that, and she does that too. I can't share pictures, but I have to say, in one picture, we're both kind of thinking and talking and looking at the same thing, and we look very similar. It's very cute. I think I have the most beautiful grandbabies in the world. I'm biased, though, I have to admit. I'm doing a simple crossover pattern now. I do believe I heard Dave. Yeah. Let me let him in. Hang on, I'm coming. I'm live for a moment. Having a real hard time with my eyes today, though. Very bad. No, I'm not sitting back here straining them. I put the little stuff away so I wouldn't strain them. But my eyes are just having a really craptastic day. I've got the glue gun on. Yeah. Well, thank you for telling everybody.
What?
I'm live.
Don't bother me. If they don't want to hear it, they don't have to.
But yeah, my eyes are having a really bad day.
Repeat?
No, don't think you need to repeat that.
All right.
He's going to the little boy's room. In a minute. I don't know where he's going right now. Out the back door? I don't know. I don't know where he's going. I'm trying to get this to cross over in a certain way, in a certain area. I'm not having too much success. But it's just to start basically an eye pattern that will repeat. Your eye will be drawn to it. So if we make it through the year, then there is an event in the fall. I've got to hold this with my legs, and my dress is not helping. There we go. My dress is not helping me. There's an event in the fall, and they've contacted me, and they've asked me to do a weaving class. And they were like, they're like, we'll pay you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? You'll pay me? Because I was like, shoot, yeah, I'll do it for free. And they're like, oh, we're going to pay you. So they had to, with the weather, and Helene last year, they called it off. But it's a Pioneer Festival. And so they were like, we'll pay you. And so I'm hoping they do it this year. They're having a rodeo up here in town. But they contacted David, and they were like, why don't you come set up and sell? And David, he's like, what's the fee? And they're like, oh, there'll be 2,500 people through here. And David's like, what's the fee? $200 for a 10 by 10. If you want something bigger than that, $400 for one day. And David mentioned that he could go to Grinch Fest and have, a customer base of 18,000 people and, only spend a little over half that. And they didn't act very interested in that, having that knowledge. I don't think they're going to have very many vendors. And they're definitely not gearing it toward people here, what they can afford here. So I don't think it's going to be a success, just to be quite honest. I don't think it's going to turn out too good. So, but we'll see, never can tell. Maybe something will happen and it will be awesome. I don't know. It could happen. I don't know. I'm going to do a square knot to tie it off. But I'm going to put a little drop of glue underneath it. So when I pull it down, it holds it in that spot. And then, like I said, when I go back, I will go back with the leather concrete, the leather cement, and this stuff will basically not move. It will permanently affix. So this is just the base level, but you can kind of see the pattern I'm starting. Up and over, and then straight. Up and over, straight. So that will be the pattern that will repeat on this as I weave different leathers. I'll probably do feather drops from these two right here. I'll just leave these two and do feather drops from these two. And just weave, wrap around them as I wrap next time. But I will use probably 2 or 3 colors of leather, at least 2. We have a couple of Viking events around here, but they normally coincide with other events that we're already, I say we, like that Dave is already paid into. So we've not been able to find any that we can go to that don't conflict with other stuff that that he does really well at and he's already paid for his booth fee at. So that's the problem with the Viking stuff. Is I really do like this one. I mean, this is my favorite print. And I don't know. I'm maybe I'm indecisive because I don't feel good today. I don't know. And maybe all I'll do is put those corner things in there. I don't know. I'll have to think on it. I'll have to think on it for a little while and see what it says to me. See what it wants to become. And then if it feels like it needs more, then I'll put more. If not, I won't. But I always use the rustic colored ones. The bronzy, aged color ones. I always use those. Oh, and if you like seed beads and you like to do seed beading. Okay, so if you buy a little handful of seed beads, just little, it's like $7. Look how swollen I am over here, y'all. I found a cheaper way to get beads. God, I'm swollen. Especially if you want a certain color story. You buy these little bracelets that have these little tiny seed beads on them. And they're like $1 or $2. And you get probably 3 times the beads you would get if you bought the beads. I'm being smart. Y'all see how swollen I am right there? Thank God I put a little on that. I don't know what's going on with. I'm probably going into another flare. I give up on trying to be normal for right now, I guess. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Look at that, though. I know. It popped out of place yesterday, and it done it a few more times as the day went on. It's probably aggravated and it's popping every time it closes right now. It's probably just aggravated and gonna be a butthole. Oh yeah, I may have to go plunder. Seed beads are getting expensive. I mean, if you got really good quality ones, oh my God, they're getting expensive. So I've learned creative ways. So lots of times you just need filler beads, or you just need like a color story filler beads. And Lord have mercy, what they cost is just horrible. It's making me feel bad. It doesn't hurt yet. It's just, it goes clunk, clunk. I'm not a huge seed beater because it's difficult for my hands. But I've learned that when I do need them, I've learned to buy them in a more effective manner. Little piddly poo. There we go. I've got to get this table cleaned off. I've been trying to keep these bags to reuse the bags, but now I have a big pile of bags. So it's hard to keep up with anything that's on the flipping table. This silver is actually the stainless that's silver plated, and it's a snake chain. And I like to pair it with really dark gems because it is so bright. So I really like these snake chains. But they can only, color-wise, they only go with certain pendants. But I only use stainless or stainless that's plated. Sometimes I can get hold of titanium. Because I'm really hard on jewelry, and so I try to get the stuff that I know will wear well and still not, it's not going to tarnish on you or anything. Oh, I wish I felt better. Today's one of those days I'm just pushing myself through the day. I'm just pushing myself through the day. The snake chains are much more difficult to get stuck in the little wedges, though. I don't know. But this is kind of where I'm at on my things. I'm at this in-between place where I've got to make some decisions on what I'm going to use certain items for. And I have to commit. And then that means I have to make one, and the other, when I use that item, I won't be able to make the other. So I have to commit. I have to figure it out and commit. And I'm at that stage where I've got to figure it out, and I'm hesitant to commit just yet. We'll get there. I always do this on some of my bigger items. I go back and forth on what what do I really want to make? What do I really want? I do this. That's what I do. Throw that down a little bit. Make it fit in this bag. Wish I felt better. But I don't always have the best days, and some days are more of a struggle than others. I had a really good day yesterday. I thought really I was coming out of this major flare kerfuffle I'd been in, but apparently I'm not. I had humps. I've made one of these also. I forget what, I think I put a big tooth in it, but I've got these bracelets that have the chain in the edges with a bigger basin. I made one of those the other day. It was really pretty. I can't remember what I put. I know I put gem chips in there, but I think I put a tooth or a tumbled bone. I can't remember. I've made so much stuff in the past few days. It's like I can't remember crap. It's just where I've done so much. Seed beads can get expensive. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go and put some bentonite clay and some castor oil compress on it. And stop talking. Probably stop talking would be the most helpful thing. Just shut up. But y'all know me. That's very difficult to do. But I'm trying to get all this little stuff done and get it all put up, and that way I can clean the table and move on to my more giant native dedicated projects and get some of the mess cleaned up and get it organized back in the craft room. I guess that's the big thing, to get it organized back in the craft room. Okay, now I'm completely out of those 1 types of cards, so I'm going to have to shift to the others. I have little round ones somewhere. Oh, somewhere being the operative word. I just had them. Oh, piddle fart. Wait, I found one. I found another square one. Rectangle one. So this is, I mean, this is one of those days where y'all think I'm doing like super creative. No, this is just one of those days where I'm trying to get the little stuff done, pushing through body issues, pain, swelling. And just trying to get through the day. That's the agenda, is just get through the flipping day today. So, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop off here and let David eat a sandwich and see how his day went, and collect a few things around here so that the mess is reduced. And then I probably am going to rest tomorrow because I need a day of rest. And occasionally yawn. Yeah, I use my lymph drainage thing and the rollers, the tincture, and the little roller massage thing. I've been using those to try to help all this move, but oh Lord. But tomorrow I'll probably just rest. But since David has popped in, I'm going to catch up with him and see how his day went. And if you don't hear from me tomorrow, I'm just resting, so don't freak out or nothing. I'll do a post if anything's going on. So. But I'm going to hop off here. Now you know what I'm going to be working on. If I get anything accomplished, I will put a picture up as well. So I'm going to log off, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.